Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another episode of Battle Bites here in World of Tanks, and I have a special one for you today. This is my newest toy, my proudest achievement, and yes, I think my new favorite tank in the game so quickly. This is the Bat Chat 25t, the French tier 10 medium tank, and this is my absolute first game in the tank. And a couple of things about this game and the tank that I'm using. It's basically as stock as you can get it. The only thing I have going for this tank above the worst setup you could possibly have is I did equip the 100mm gun. This thing can use a 90mm, but the 100 is unlocked for free in terms of XP as soon as you get this tank. So you would have to purposely be handicapping yourself to make this tank any worse. My crew is at 75%. I did not overtrain them. I've put no equipment on this tank for this game. I think I do have the camo. I did go and buy all the permanent camo packages. They were on sale for 50% off at this point, so I was rushing to complete this tank so I could equip it with the permanent camo for half price. But other than that, this tank is as bad as it can be right now. And this is my first game in it, and you'll get to see that this tank, why it has, I played about, I don't know, 20 games in it, maybe 40 games in it at this point, and I absolutely love it. So as we're playing through, remember, everything you're seeing in this tank is at its worst. It only gets better from here. So right now it's equipped with a 100mm 6-shot autoloader. Each shell does an average damage of 300. It's got 232 penetration on the standard rounds. That jumps up not much at all to 263mm on the premium rounds. So not a big difference for the premium rounds in this tank with the 100mm gun. So you have a clip potential of 1800, and I'm not going to go into all the 105. I do have that gun unlocked. When I show you a battle with that gun on it, I'll get into those stats. But right now we're using the 100mm gun, and you can see we've put in a couple of shots early. But what's really special about this tank is the fact that it is so mobile. It's just nimble, and you can use it to get around. You can get yourself into good positions, and then you can use that mobility. See here, we're up against a T110E4, a tank that is just brutal, a huge gun, really dangerous, great armor from the front. But we can get ourselves into some sneaky little positions and just pump out this 300 damage per shot. We put in 3 there, take that tank out, and get our first kill. That is our first kill in the Bat Chat 25t. Many more to come throughout this thing's career in my garage. So the scores are looking pretty good at this point. It's 6-3 in our favor. We're down here on the corner. We go for a reload, and the reload, I think with this gun, is just over 30 seconds, maybe 32. It goes up a little bit when you equip the 105. So I'm trying to help push the advance here. I'm in one of the strongest tanks on my team down here on this corner. We've kind of won the corner. Now we need to continue the rest of the fight. But the one thing the Bat Chat does not have is armor, so we don't want to take hits. And wow, now we see there's a whole bunch of reinforcements on this corner. I thought that E75 was going to be alone. We'd be able to challenge, but that is not the case. But now that the Object 263, that's the Tier 10 Russian tank destroyer there, he's advanced a little bit farther than I thought he was going to. So we're able to put one into his ammo rack, put a second one in, and now we're going to back up. We did take a hit there, so we have half our hit points left, and I want to pull back because I'm now overextended. The rest of my support is back around the corner, and I don't want to get double, triple teamed here and removed from the game. And then on top of all that, the E75, the Object 263, there's also a T95, the Tier 9 Doom Turtle, the super frontally heavily armored tank, and yes, my allies are asking me to pull back, and I am only too happy to do so. So we're going to get back around the corner, and you can see there we've got a reloaded magazine, and we're going to try and get ourselves back into a nice position where we can support, and the enemy is starting to pull back a little bit here. So we get around the corner, and I want to provide some support for my tank destroyer in front of me here. So the Object 263, that is a deadly tank from the front as well. It is very well armored. If you're facing that thing frontally, you need to get its sides where it doesn't have a turret and it doesn't have good traverse. So we go for a full reload there. I only had 4 of the 6 shots in my clip, and I feel like now's a good chance to kind of pull back and take advantage of that. And thankfully, we have some support coming in terms of a Waffenträger E100. So now we've got a lot of support on that corner that, can provide frontal firepower, and hopefully I'll be able to provide flanking firepower. Our tanks have done a good job on the Object 263. It's just about dead. So now I feel like, all right, the E75 I think went down the slope. So the object is by itself. Use that mobility, rush in. I would have had his flank, but thankfully my allies were able to take him out anyway, so they didn't need me. But now the E75 is down there by himself. He's backing up because he's got trouble from the front, which is great because now we can put some shots in. And wow, I hit the rear of the tank, but it was such an extreme angle that it bounced. So a rare bounce off of the rear of a tank, but we're able to come in. The E75 does take out our ally, but we have an easy kill there into the rear back of the tank, the flush rear of the tank, I should say. And we eliminate him with 4 left in our clip. And now I'm taking a look at the map, and oh crap, it's a bulldog. But thankfully we put one in, track him. Second one sets him on fire, and the third, we didn't even need it to finish him off there. He burns nicely, and thankfully we had enough shots in our clip. If we would have been caught on the reload by that bulldog, that could have been the end of us. But thankfully we were able to finish him off with what was remaining in our magazine, and that really puts us into good shape now. So I think there's 3 enemy tanks left: a heavy, a tank destroyer, which is that T95, and there is the T95. And we can see the heavy is up in the northwest corner. So I'm thinking to myself, what can I do in this situation? Well, I'm kind of pinned by the T95. I could rush and try to get around his side, but I don't like my chances. It's a little bit too narrow there. And if he hits me once, I'm dead. So I'll leave him. He's not going anywhere. He's in a T95. He's down in that valley. It's going to take him a long time to get somewhere. Instead, I'm going to try and get rid of the artillery, because that may be providing cover, supporting fire to either the T95 at me, although I was probably safe in that position, or the rest of my allies that are engaging the enemy heavy. So I'll go on a little mission. I'll use my mobility. Whew, the GW Tiger sends one just over my head, thankfully. This is a nice low-profile tank in addition to being very mobile. So the artillery misses, we get another kill, and that is our 4th for the game, and our allies take out the heavy tank, and now it's just the T95. So I did a little something here where I continued to progress towards the center of the map there while I was spotted, so that the T95 would think I was coming from that direction, right? He doesn't have a turret, he has to pick a direction. Then I'm going to come from this way, and hopefully I'll catch him facing the wrong way. He's going to think I'll take the shortest path, I'll take a longer path, and it doesn't matter because I'm fast. Now, just in case he has come around the bottom of the loop here, I'm hugging this slope. If I see him, I'm diving down into that last little valley. But he's not here, so he's going to be up in this little area. Do we see him? There he is, and he's facing the wrong way. Our little ploy worked perfectly. We're going to swoop in behind. Oh, artillery puts one in. We're going to wait for a nice shot here. Now we're looking down into the fuel tanks. 1 in, 2 in. That's our 5th kill of the game. We did over 10 damaging shots, 5 kills in our first game in the Bat Chat, in a pretty much stock Bat Chat. I love this tank, guys. I cannot stress how fun this tank is. If you're thinking of a line to grind, I heavily recommend going up the French medium line to get the Bat Chat. I loved the whole line. Some people struggle with the AMX 1375 or the 1390. I loved all of them. The Lorraine was a little bit of a grind, but even that one, it had its moments. It was fine. And this tank is absolutely worth it. I love it. I have the T57 Heavy. I have the Waffenträger E100. This is by far more fun than both of those tanks. It's the best one I've played. I might even enjoy this more than my Cromwell and my Cromwell Knight. And I have to play this tank at tier 10. So that's saying something. This says I don't even mind playing if I'm up against Death Stars and Waffenträger E100s and the like. This tank is just so much fun. So I highly encourage you, if you're thinking about this line, if you're progressing through it, don't give up. Get this tank, because it opened up the game in a whole new way to me at tier 10. So we can see that a nice game. Again, this was not a crazy game, but it was nice for my first one. 1,345 base XP, 5 kills, just shy of 3,500 damage. And remember, that's with the 100mm gun. If I was using the 105, every hit that I did would do just about 100 more average damage. So for our, I think it was 11 hits that we had. Oh, actually 15 hits, 14 penetrations. A couple of those were probably fire ticks though. So add, over 1,000, maybe 1,200, maybe 1,300 damage to the damage total if I had been using the 105 gun. I mean, you can see the potential for this tank is ridiculous, and I've had some really good games in it. I have unlocked the 105, and I'm enjoying it to a whole nother level beyond what I was when I had just the 100 millimeter. So this is just my first impressions of the tank. I wanted to gush about it because I really enjoy it so much. Maybe it will inspire some of you guys out there to pursue it, or if you are and you're hitting a grind, you're hitting a wall, maybe this will make you aware of what it is that you're going to get at the end of the line, make it worth it for you, and give you a little extra bump to get through it. I've been using this for the monster hunt, because you need kills, and man, this tank is great at getting kills. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it provided some inspiration to you. If you already have the tank, tell me what you think. Is it your favorite? Do you have a problem with it? Let's, I'm happy to have a contrasting opinion to balance out my fanboy opinion of this tank. By all means, please leave a comment below. And if you've enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and favorite. And as always, subscribe to Meat City Gaming for your future gaming content. If it's World of Tanks related, I'll be covering it here on the channel. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.